Hello, YouTube. So this is something I've been wanting to experiment with, which is recording videos in the car, driving over to the in-laws for Thanksgiving. I posted a video earlier, but I was kind of thinking about the future of the channel and what I'd like to do. So I guess a couple things I could say real fast. A couple of my favorite BookTube channels are Michael K. Vaughn's channel and Steve Donahue's. So I plan to make my channel a bit of an approximate of both of those, or at least similar, especially Michael K. Vaughn. I really like some of the stuff he does. He talks about Edgar Rice Burroughs a lot, and Robert E. Howard, and which I like both of those authors. He also talks about H.P. Lovecraft a lot. I've mentioned this before, but I actually have a significant interest in kind of the pulp era of fiction. Anyway, but my two favorite authors are Wilbur Smith and Bernard Cornwell. Bernard Cornwell will be my favorite author, and those two will always be my favorite authors. I don't foresee that ever changing. I've been reading both of them since I was a very young man. Bernard Cornwell I was reading while I was in high school, so at least when I very first started reading them. Anyway, so I plan to do a reread of at some point of the entire catalog of both of those authors. Both of them have some books I haven't read. Bernard Cornwell maybe only has there's like 2 Sharpe novels I haven't read, and then plus the new one that's about to come out. There's a few others I've missed of Cornwell's. Like, I've never read his thriller series he did. He does like a thriller at sea adventure, and I've never read that, so I could check that out too. But irregardless, I plan on rereading the whole Sharpe series, and I also want to reread his. He's got another one that's another series set around the time of Agincourt and the 100 Years' War kind of era, and I'm gonna reread that sometime. I've read it before, but it's been many years now. So anyway, but my plan is to do something kind of like what Michael K. Vaughan does. I want both these authors to be remembered. Wilbur Smith and Bernard Cornwell. I think they both deserve to be remembered. They're both fantastic. I'm going to continue reading them the rest of my life. Unfortunately, Wilbur Smith is deceased now, but there will be books occasionally still come out that he has like co-authored or whatever. You know, the secret notes and manuscripts that are always found in these authors' desks. Wilbur Smith was a pretty popular author while he was alive. Certainly not the way like Michael Crichton and some of those other posthumous authors are. William Johnstone, the Western writer, he's been dead for 15 years now. That's still come out with 5 books a year. But I'm gonna read some William Johnstone soon too. I found a couple of his old novels at my grandma's house. I'm gonna show them on the channel. I was over there the other day, and I went ahead and snatched them up. But if I don't read them right away, I'll save them for June on the Range and during BookTube, the BookTube event, and I'll talk about them. But anyway, I'm going to do, like I said, when I do these rereads of both Wilbur Smith and Bernard Cornwell's catalogs, I'm going to plan on doing regular videos about them. Another author I like a lot is Patrick O'Brian. I might make him part of that too. I think Patrick O'Brian's great, so I'll probably read that whole series too. I don't think I ever done. There's like 22 books in that series, the Master and Commander series. So I think I read them all. And it's been so many years since I've read some of this stuff. Like the Sharpe novels, like I know I've read just about all of them, but I'd have to reread. I'll have to write it down once I do my reread and check mark and everything. A lot of them I'll probably remember. Some of them, obviously I'll probably remember nearly all of them. But anyway, I know at least years ago, I remember I had read so many of the Sharpe novels, and I remember at that time I had probably read 15 or more of them, and I picked one up. I can't remember. I saw it. I think I got it at a bookstore or something, and I remember I started reading it, and I got about 100 pages in, and I realized I'd already read it before. I went ahead and read it anyway, and finished it, because I just liked it so much, but yeah, then I was like, oh yeah, this is really familiar. It's like, and I thought maybe it was just kind of formulaic or something, and to some extent those books are, but anyway, I love Bernard Cornwell, and so I'll probably the plan will be I will make regular videos about both Wilbur Smith and Bernard Cornwell, like maybe not on a weekly basis, but at least once a month or every other week, I'll feature both of them or in a book of theirs and talk about them, because I love Wilbur Smith. Not only does he write historical fiction, but he also writes it that's set in Africa, which just adds another layer of interesting to it. So, anyway, I haven't read Wilbur Smith's Ancient Egypt series because I'm not super interested in Ancient Egypt, but I'm gonna go and try. I like Ancient Egypt. It's just different, right? Like it's like, but because it's almost fantasy. We know so little about Ancient Egypt, but I'm gonna go and check it out, and then I'm just gonna give it a try. It's Wilbur Smith, so that's enough to get me on board, right? Like that's like sold, right? Like it's Wilbur Smith. Like we'll do it, but convinced, right? I already have The River God. I already own it, so I'll at least read that one for sure. Some of Wilbur Smith. Wilbur Smith has a few other books I haven't read. He's got some that are set more modern times. I haven't, at least modern at the time he wrote them. They were contemporary, in contemporary times at the time he was writing them. So I'll maybe check some of those out because I think those might be pretty good. Anyway, and then some stuff I got coming up. I just recently started reading James L. Nelson, and I like him a lot. Like I've really enjoyed his book so far. I read Buccaneer Coast in like 3 days. It was a 500-page book while I was reading another book. So, and then I just started Tortuga this morning, or today. I haven't even had that much time to read it, and I've already read 100 pages of it. So I'll probably get through that pretty fast. I'm still working on Half Drowned King. I've just been liking this James L. Nelson stuff so much. I've been kind of neglecting Half Drowned King. I read a few pages of it today, but I'm gonna pick that back up and finish it. I'll probably read the whole series. I really do like the Half Drowned King a lot too. I've been pleasantly surprised by that. But I'm also going to read A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller soon. I haven't read that before, and I'm going to check it out. It's not really historical fiction because we don't really know anything about the events of the Trojan War. But I guess it's not much different than an Arthurian book. So, like a book about King Arthur, speaking of which, so I'm going to read Song of Achilles soon. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I'll let Kindle Unlimited kind of decide some things I read, basically, because, I pay for the service, so I read stuff on there. And then they got some pretty good stuff on Kindle Unlimited, so. But, ever since I read the Arthur trilogy again by Bernard Cornwell, because that was a reread for me, I think I'm going to read more of his stuff. I'm gonna check out some more, or not more of his stuff. I love Bernard Cornwell. I've read all kinds of stuff by him, but I think I'm going to check out some other Arthurian series as well, some other King Arthur series. There's quite a few out there, just for, just to do it, you know what I mean, for comparison. I've read a few of them. Obviously, I've read the Once and Future King. And, there's a couple others I read. So I read The Death of King Arthur too, and then there's a couple. There's another one I read that's by I can't remember, but I think I actually own it, so I have to look at it. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of talk about that, kind of the future of the channel. Like I said, like I said, I'll just make episodes about Bernard Cornwell and Wilbur Smith. I got the Wilbur Smith book, Cry Wolf. I feel like I've read it before. It takes place during the Italian invasion of Ethiopia during World War I, which is really interesting. So I might read that too. I feel like maybe I read it before, but it's not connected to this Courtney or Valentine series, either one of those. So if Wilbur Smith at all, but anyway, it's just one of the goals. The point is, one of the mission statements of my channel is to help. Sorry if you can't see me very well. I apologize. I don't have any lights in here, but hold on, maybe okay. There's some light. So I apologize. I should have turned that on sooner, but yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to. And like I said, a mission statement, a bit of the channel is to help Bernard Cornwell and Wilbur Smith be remembered. Maybe spread the good word on James Nelson. Maybe some I like Con Ingleton a lot too, even though he writes some duds sometimes. But I really like Falcon of Sparta, and I've read a bunch of his stuff, a bunch of Con Ingleton. But anyway, YouTube. So if there's anything, you guys got any questions or anything, I usually try to put my emails in the descriptions, my email address. You guys can email me about whatever. I don't really care. Questions, what I like, what kind of books I like, recommendations, whatever. Maybe stuff you want me to make videos about. Historical fiction is my favorite genre, so stuff about that would most likely get made. Like, I read Conan and the Emerald Lotus recently, and I liked it. I thought it was good, but I don't know. I have a hard time getting into fantasy for some reason. It's not that I don't like it, because I read it. Like, I want to read the Amber Chronicles, because I find stuff like that kind of interesting, like the collected edition of it. So I'll probably check that out sometime, but, like, I don't know. It's just harder for me to do fantasy. Like, I gotta be, I guess what I should say is I gotta be in the mood for it. Because I was thinking about reading Michael Moorcock's Elric series, which I've read the first one before, and I remember liking it. I think I read the first two. But I was just going to start over and read the whole thing. Or not the whole, at least maybe not the whole series. There's like 20 of those, but, at least the first few. I don't know. I got so much stuff to read, and I want to read some more Patrick O'Brien stuff again, so I don't know. That's another author I don't want to be forgotten, so anyway. So good night or good day, wherever you're at, YouTube.